संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
भारतीय संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा। ज्ञान और विज्ञान यहीं से सबने पाया सारा, सबने पाया सारा। कुछ भूलों से हारा फिर से जीते देश हमारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी। वैज्ञानिकता विनय सभ्यता स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी, स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी। देशभक्ति में तेजस्वी हो फिर समाज यह सारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
महावीर गोविंद शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे। परंपरा की पुण्य चेतना उर में हम सब धारे, उर में हम सब धारे। बाल हृदय में उसे जगाकर जगे देश यह सारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
समर्थ बनाओ।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागो सारी दुर्बलता को राष्ट्र समर्थ बनाओ। बंधु भाव समता ममता से सबको गले लगाओ, सबको गले लगाओ। चलो विवेकानंद मार्ग पर शुभ संदेश हमारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा। भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारि बरनउ रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायकु फलचारि बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर राम दूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन बिराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा बिराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिंह दिखावा बिकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई सहस बदन तुम्हरो जस गावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते राम द्वारे तुम रखवारे होतन आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज सम्हारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम बचन ध्यान जो लावै सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हरे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हरे भजन राम को पावै जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरै हनुमत बलबीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूटहि बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुरभूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारी बरनौ रघुबर विमल जसु जोदायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज संवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतई सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सकै कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्योताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माही जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज संहारो आपे तीनों लोक हांकते कांपे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असवर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुबरपुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय।
सच्चिदानन्दम् वासुदेवम् व्रजप्रियम् धर्मसंस्थापकम् वीरम् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
all. Another interpretation session. Geeta. Today, we all have assembled virtually to hear the virtuous interpretation of first chapter, last half, Arjun Vishad Yoga. Prayer is the avenue through which we involve God in every detail of our lives. Now, I would like to welcome Suresh Gandhi ji to come forward. He is from Surat. Suresh Bhaiya is a chartered accountant and is also vice chairman of a prominent local cooperative bank. Bhaiya became Geeta Vrati in November 2021 and also participated in Antakshari at Rishikesh. He has joined Geeta Parivar in June 2020 and is also giving service as trainer in all the levels. Over to you, Suresh Bhaiya.
जय श्री कृष्ण। वसुदेव सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं, कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। जय श्री कृष्ण।
Jai Shri Krishna Bhaiya. Thank you Bhaiya. दीप ज्योति परब्रह्म दीप ज्योतिर्जनार्दना दीपो हरतु मे पापं दीप ज्योतिर्नमोस्तुते. Now moving forward, I would like to invite Jai Shri Trivedi ji for Deep Prajwalam. Jai Shri Didi is from Mumbai. She has done B.Ed and M.Com. She has joined Geeta Parivar in August 21 and currently she is a trainer and group coordinator. Now I welcome Jai Shri Didi for Deep Prajwalam. Over to you, Didi.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृतां कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदां नुमः वरदां शारदां
Thank you, Jai Shri, for lighting a lamp, which is a symbol of enlightenment. Utsanah kuladharmanam manusyanay janardana narake niyatanvaso bhavati tyanushrama. Now I would like to invite our respected Geeta Vrati, Vikas Vaidya Bhaiya, to enlighten us with the beautiful meaning of Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā. He is disciple of Param Pujya Swamiji, the founder of Geeta Parivar. He has done BE in Mechanical and PG DBM. Bhaiya is based in Pune and owns an IT company. He has been NRI for 12 years and has traveled the world, and so knows many languages like Indonesian, Malaysian, and Spanish. In online Geeta classes, he is one of the senior most trainers. Vikas Bhaiya is also involved in the offline teaching of Vishnu Sahasranam as a member of Pune Geeta Parivar. Bhaiya has given Geeta Kanthast exam at Shrungeri Peeth and has received first prize by the hands of Param Pujya Jagat Guru Shri Shankaracharya. And now he guides Geeta Vratis to prepare for Shrungeri Peeth's exam. Hereby, I invite Honorable Vikas Bhaiya to start the Geeta Arth Vivechan Satra and give us positive vibes. Over to you, Vikas Bhaiya.
जय श्री कृष्ण। पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरण कमलों में कोटि कोटि नमन। We are discussing Adhyay first. Today we will conclude that Adhyay. Before that, let us start with the Prarthana. Vasudeva Sudan Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Jai Shri Krishna to all. So last time we had covered up to slok number 36. 36 slok was Nihatyadharda Rashtrannah Apriti Janardana Papameva Shraye Dasman Atvaitana Tatayinaha. So what pleasure we are going to derive, Krishna, by killing sons of Dhritarashtra? They are terrorists, Atatayin. They are aggressors. But even then, by killing them, we will only incur sin because they are our relatives. To kill family is a big sin. So even if they are aggressors, we should not kill them. Okay, having said that, now Arjuna goes further. Having pointed out the evil consequences of the war, now Arjuna now dwells upon the sheer impropriety of the war, waging the war. Slok number 37. Tasman narha vayam hantun dhartarashtran svabandhavan swajanam hikatham hatva Sukhinasya Madhava. Tasman. Tasmat means therefore. That's why. No, never. Arha is proper. Vayam. Vayam is pronoun in Sanskrit. That means we. Hantum. Hantum is to kill. Dhartarashtran. Sons of Dhritarashtra. Swabandhavan. Our relatives, our friends. Swajan. Our family members. Katham. How. Hatva. By killing. Sukhina. Happy, Syama will become, and Madhava is calling for Lord Krishna. So Arjuna says, therefore, Tasmat, Lord Krishna, therefore, it is not proper for us to kill sons of Dhritarashtra. Tasman Naraha Vayam Hantun Dhartarashtran. And our friends and relatives, Swabandhavan. Not proper to kill sons of Dhritarashtra and our own friends and relatives. What and how we can derive happiness if we kill our own people? Swajanam hikatam hatva sukhina syama madhava. What kind of pleasure we are going to derive? What kind of happiness? Sukhina. So tasman nahra vayam hantun dhartarashtran bandhavan. The arguments against the slaughter of our kith and kin so far given by Arjuna. Arjuna says they are enough to convince us that it is improper to indulge in this kind of destructive activity like war against our own family, against our own relatives. How can we, who are regarded as virtuous persons, Pandavas are regarded as virtuous persons, how can we perform such a heinous act? Tasman narhavayam hantun dhatarashtran swamandhavan. Then further, swajanam hikatam hatva sukhina syama madhava. Madhava, that means the husband of Ma Lakshmi. Ma is Lakshmi. And Dhava, Pati of Lakshmi is Madhava. So that name, Madhava of Lord Krishna. Madhava, this mere thought that we are killing our own people has made us so much uncomfortable, the cause of the big pain in us. Mere thought of it, that we're going to kill our own friends and relatives, this thought itself has made us so much disturbed. If this really happens, what will happen? If we really kill them, what kind of pain we are going to suffer? What kind of happiness we are going to get if we slaughter our own people? So the delusion which is born out of sense of mind deprives Arjuna the sense of his duty, because he thinks these are my people, my. And as a member of warrior class, he should not have done that. But where there is delusion, there is no common sense. When the person gets confused, his common sense stops working. When the discretion is suppressed by delusion, the sense of duty, it definitely gets blurred. He doesn't understand what he's doing and why he's doing that. Everything gets blurred. Slok 38 now. See, the question arises, why Duryodhana does not think this on the same lines like Arjuna was thinking. Arjuna was thinking that we are killing our own people, but Duryodhana doesn't think like that. He is also going to kill his own people. They are also his kith and kin only. So why not like this? So Arjuna imagines this and he explains this, why they are not thinking and why I am thinking, why we should think. So he says, Yadyapyedena pashyanti lobho pahata chetasaha kulakshay krutan dosham mitradrohe cha patakam. Yadyapyete, yadi and api, these two words come together, and ete means they. Yadi, api and ete becomes yadyapyete. Yadi means same in Hindi. If api is given, ete means they means Kauravas. Na pashyanti, they don't see. Because lobho pahata chetasaha, lobho, greed, pahata, overpowered by, stolen by, chetasaha, hearts. Kulakshay, by killing the family. Krutam is done. Dosham is dosh, sins, plot. Mitra drohe, by irritating, fighting against our friends, that is mitra droha. Patakam, the sinful act. So Arjuna says further that even if their hearts are overpowered, are taken away by the greed, lobho pahata chetasaha. Their hearts have been stolen, have been taken away, have been overpowered by the greed. And that's why they say nothing wrong in killing their family members. Yadyapyete na pashyanti. Because lobho pahata chetasaha kulakshay krutan dosham mitra drohe cha patakam. Their hearts have been stolen, have been overpowered by the greed in their mind. That's why they don't see anything wrong in killing the family, in killing their own friends. What kind of great sin is involved in that they don't see. Yadyapyetena pashyanti lobho pahata chetasaha kulakshay krutan dosham mitra drohe cha patakam. We'll take the next look also together. Kadhannadneyam asmabhi papa dasman nivartitum kulakshay krutan dosham prapashyadbhir janardana. Katham means why. No, should not. Neyanam, to be known. Asmabhi means by us. Papat, from the sins. Nivartitum, to get rid of, to retire. Nivartit. Kulakshay krutam, by destroying the kula, the dynasty, the family. Dosham is the crime, dosha. Prapashyadhi, those who understand this, those who understand, who see this well. Prapashyadhi, that we have seen. Now Janardana. Janardana is the calling for Arjuna, Lord Krishna. So after having said that Yadyapyetena pashyanti lobho bhavata chetasaha kulakshay krutam dosham mitra drohe cha patakam, Arjuna says further, Kathannadneyam asmabhi papa dasman nivartitum kulakshay krutam dosham prapashyadbhir janardana. Lord Janardana, we ourselves who very well understand the sinful acts involved in destruction of our own dynasty, they don't understand because their hearts are stolen, overpowered by greed. But we are good people, no. We understand. We are virtuous. We understand this is the sin involved in killing our own family, in killing our own friends. So that's why we should not think of getting rid of this. Should we not think of getting rid of this sinful act? Why should we not get rid of this sinful act when we understand? Kulakshay kritandosham prapashyadbhir janardana. Prapashyadbhir. We understand well. They don't understand, but we understand. We are virtuous people. We understand what kind of great sins are involved in killing our own people. So why we should not withdraw from this? Papa dasman nivartatam. Why should not we withdraw from this kind of thing, wherein we are killing our own people? Yadapyatena pashanti lobho bhavatejasa kulakshay kritam dosha mitra drohe cha patakam. Greed consists in desiring to have more and more of wealth, more and more of property, more and more of praise, respect, rank, everything. That is the greed. It is because of greed that Duryodhana lost his common sense, his discretionary power, his discretionary strength. And so they do not think about the disastrous consequences of waging the war. And the scenes, the papa that will accrue from it. This extraordinary greed had deprived them of their sense of discretion. And little do they realize that the kingdom for which they are doing such a big sinful act, committing such a big sin of destroying their kith and kin, is not going to stay long with them. It's going to go one day. It's not going to stay with them permanently. And always we should remember that the pleasure of possession is soon followed by the pleasure of, pain of deprivation. We get deprived of what we have possessed. So that pain is unbearable. The pleasure of possession is great, but the pain of deprivation is something which cannot be explained. So this outweighs that pleasure of possession. With the minds deluded by the greed for kingdom, they do not perceive the deadly sin which will arise by destroying their own families. See, a battle causes loss of time, loss of energy, loss of life, loss of property, everything. And people are assailed by worries and hardships. When there is a quarrel between two friends, they turn into enemies. The quarrel turns them into enemies. Two good friends also become enemies. This was the case with Drupada and Dronacharya also. They were friends, but some incident occurred and they became enemies. So now they are standing against each other to kill each other. Friends can turn into enemies. They do not perceive the evil of destruction of the race and the sin that will accrue from the enmity towards these friends. Once upon a time they were friends, but now okay, they are enemies. But there are a lot of people who are still friends. Kathannad niyamasmabhi papa dasma nivartatam. See, though Duryodhana do not perceive any guilt in extermination, in killing of their family, and the sin accruing from the enmity towards friends. Yet, we should resist. We should resist that kind of action from our side. We should withdraw from such sin. Because we know it very well that the destruction of family is an evil and enmity towards friends is a big sin. If those friends cause us some pain, it will not be harmful for us. They may cause us pain. It will not be harmful for us because the pain will destroy our sins and purify us. We'll repay whatever wrong things we might have done previously, earlier. So we'll get cleansed if they give us the pain. But if we have the feeling of malice and enmity towards our friends, then those feelings, that malice will going to stick with us for a whole time, for all the time to come. And that will instigate us to commit sins and lead us to degradation. Therefore, we certainly should not take this action of committing that sin of fighting war against our friends and kith and kin. Now here Arjuna is talking about the greed of Duryodhana and Kauravas. But he is not thinking about his own fault. What is his fault? Infatuation and delusion. Getting attached, infatuation. And delusion, the confusion of mind. So he cannot understand his duty because he is affected by infatuation and by delusion. It is a rule. It is a rule that A man cannot perceive his shortcomings, his failings, as long as he perceives defects in others. If you start looking defects in others, then you overlook the defects in yourself. You try to concentrate only on his defects. This is what exactly was happening with Arjuna. He was trying to find faults in Duryodhana and Kauravas, forgetting about the faults which he himself possessed. He feels rather proud of his superiority that he has no defect. While the defect is that everyone generally possesses one or other defect. All of us, we have defects. But being proud that I don't have defect, it's a defect itself. Being proud that I have no defect is a defect itself. So Arjuna cannot pursue his own infatuation and delusion, his own defects, because he is finding fault with Duryodhana. And he thinks he is clean, he is right. Duryodhana is wrong. He is forgetting that he also possesses some kind of defects in him. Okay, Shlok 40 now. Kulakshay pranashyanti kuladharmat sanatanaha dharme nashte kulam krishna madharmo vibhavatyuta. Kulakshay pranashyanti kuladharmat sanatanaha Kulakshay pranashyanti kuladharmat sanatanaha dharme nashte kulam krishna adharmo vibhavatyuta. With the destruction, Kulakshay, the destruction of Kula, the dynasty, family. Pranashyanti, to get eliminated, finished, vanquished. Kuladharma, the family traditions, the family rituals. Sanatana, which are coming since eternal, since age old. Dharme, of the religion. Nashte, get destroyed. Kulam, Kulam is Kul, dynasty, family. Kristam, total, complete. Adharma, Adharma is irreligion. Actions which are against the religious teachings and principles is adharma. So this shloka says, Kulakshaya pranashyanti kuladharma sanatanaha dharme nashte kulam krishna badharmo vibhavatyuta. A danger sign Arjuna is raising now, saying that with the destruction of dynasty, the age-old and eternal family rituals and family traditions will get vanquished, will get finished. And thus the remaining members of family become involved in the acts which are against the religious teachings and principles. They will start following adharma. They will become adharmi. So this is another danger Arjuna is projecting as a result of war. So in these 2-3 shlokas, Arjuna is saying that although these men, their hearts are clouded by greed, they see no sin in killing their family and inflicting cruelty on their own friends. Why should we, who can see the evil in this action, not refrain from this sin, Krishna? With the destruction of family, the spiritual family traditions perish forever. And then the unrighteousness dominates the entire society. Those who are filled with greed, such people end up destroying the entire clan, entire dynasty. They do not heed good advice given to them by their good friends. They ignore the advice given to them. In fact, anyone who opposes their action, he becomes their enemy. They think that why he is opposing my action? Now he is my enemy. He opposed my action, so he is my enemy. They regard him as an enemy. A lot of people who had tried to instill sense in Duryodhana also tried to reason out with him, including Bhishmacharya, Vidur, King Draupad, and then Lord Krishna himself. But Duryodhana did not heed their advice. Moreover, even Dhritarashtra could not understand, as he was so entrenched to his attachment to Duryodhana that he said, whatever Duryodhana does is right. I am not against Duryodhana. Whatever he does is always right. Duryodhana was very dear to Dhritarashtra, and his son's wishes were paramount to Dhritarashtra. So Duryodhana's wishes were of paramount importance to Dhritarashtra. He said that his son did not agree with the advice and reasoning offered by everyone. He was capable of preventing the imminent war. So Dhritarashtra also did not try anything to prevent the war. Now Arjuna says that Janardana, is there a greater sin than greed that has overtaken these men, Kauravas? Their hearts are so full of greed that they see nothing wrong in killing their family and friends. If our entire clan gets destroyed, then that will become an unrighteous act. And with the destruction of dynasty, the long-running family traditions will be aborted. Who will perform? Everybody gets wiped out. Who will perform family traditions? Now here Arjuna is bringing in the context of social traditions and customs, which were prevalent that time also. And he says that every family, every clan follows a traditional path of righteousness, a set of ethical precepts, so as to say. So the entire clan gets wiped out, who will then continue with these moral precepts which are prescribed by their ancestors and that were handed down to them from generation to generation. And these precepts are not new, they are ancient and are being followed in families for centuries, and they will get aborted. Who will bear the responsibility for this kind of scene? Arjuna is arguing that if the ethical precepts handed over by generation together they get destroyed, then that will pave the way for the destruction of religion and righteousness in total. There will be total adharma. Dharma will get destroyed. See, basic ethical tenets or precepts from the they form the foundation of our lives. And children learn this from their parents. Like we teach our children to respect the elders, cordially greet the guests when they visit your house with warmth, feed the birds and animals, give bhiksha or that alms to the needy sannyasi who comes to your place. These are the fundamental tenets that parents impart to their children. Offering the first roti to the cow or serving the elders, being humble to elders, waking up early in the morning, do some meditation, some yoga. These are things which we teach to our children. Of course, there are some parents who do not get up early themselves. They get up at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. But okay, this is about the parents who are following normal Hindu traditions of getting up early and following some rituals of doing meditation, yoga. Now, if you have been following this fundamental ethical practice, then this itself will form the foundation of your spiritual practice. Because this will create a good atmosphere within your family if you follow all the traditions which you have learned from your earlier generation. But on the contrary, those homes which are dominated by lethargy, those homes which are controlled, which are dominated by lethargy and inertia, will they learn Geeta? Will they learn Vedanta? Will they recite Vishnu Sahasranam? No. Such homes abound only in the pursuit of material pleasures and wealth. Make more money is the motto. It does not matter how you make it. Big borrow steal, whatever. Big borrow steal, whatever you do. So whether you earn it fraudulently or by bribery, it does not matter. Money is important. So where the family traditions get destroyed, people start going on the wrong path. Arjuna says that the destruction of customary, traditionally followed ethical precepts, the rituals, family rituals, will in effect destroy the righteousness completely. And the society will then be dominated by sin only. So Arjuna continues talking about the consequence of destruction of dynasty along with its ethical precepts now. And says, Krishna, sin and unrighteousness will become the norm of life. The women from such families will lose their virtuosity. They will lose their virtuosity, and then what will happen is the women from such families will become polluted, and it will lead to unwanted progeny, unwanted children. Now, in those times, Manusmriti was the doctrine for all social and religious behavior as per the law. Manusmriti was the guiding principle for all the people at that time. And according to that Manusmriti text, a woman is perennially dependent on a man for her survival and support. Before marriage, she is dependent on her father or brother. After marriage, her husband becomes her protector and savior. And a widow would be dependent on her son. This school of thought was very prevalent at that time. Although it was in the same age that Arjuna's mother Kunti had become an unwed mother of Karna by giving birth to Karna much before her marriage. Furthermore, the Pandavas were known by not their father's name but by their mother's name, Kunti Putra. They were addressed as the sons of Kunti. Now, Arjuna's male ego is still surfacing here. And he says that in the absence of men, the women from their dynasty will lose their virtuosity. He's not worried about men losing their virtuosity. He's worried about women losing their virtuosity. Another factor that is relevant here is that as far as the children are concerned, it does not matter much if the father becomes wayward, father goes on the wrong path, it does not matter much. For it is the mother who takes care of the children. Even if the father is evil, as indeed we see in many cases, Hiranyaksha was one example, it did not make any difference to the child, as it was the mother who taught him the path of devotion and truth. So mothers are the main force to train their children on the right path. Fathers may be doing busy in their activity or doing some wayward activities also, but mothers are worried about the future of their children more than their father. And there are so many examples in history where the mothers have taken exemplary care of their children who have grown up such virtuous individuals. Many examples in Hindu Adhyatma. So a woman is complete on her own. She does not need anyone to make her complete. She is complete. Salute to all the women. But this male dominance has had such a deep impact of women, her psyche, that even today there are so many women we find who think that they will not be able to survive without a man's support. They are fearful of going anywhere without husband or without father or brother. And here Arjuna is expressing this very sentiment. He says that if women become wayward and depraved, there will be no hope left for the welfare of their children. Adharma bhivat krishna pradushyanti kula striyaha strishu dushtasu varashneya jayate varna sankaraha. This is what Arjuna is explaining. That Krishna, when the social behavior violates religious principles and such behavior becomes dominant, then the ladies, even from the respectable families, kulastriya, they become polluted. And when the family ladies get polluted, it gives birth to unwanted, undesired, hybrid generation, hybrid children. What is hybrid children? Varna Sankara. There could be Dharma Sankara, people of two different religions getting married and producing children, that is Dharma Sankara. People of two different Varnas getting married and producing children, that is Varna Sankara. People of different castes getting married and producing children, that is Jati Sankara. People who follow different dressing traditions, like we follow saris or Punjabi suit. People in West, they follow mini skirt and midi skirt or some such clothing. So this difference, it creates a Vesh Sankara, Ahar Sankara. Some people are strictly vegetarian. Some people, they enjoy eating non-vegetarian food. When they get married together, it creates a Ahar Sankara. So Sankara means contradicting people coming together and then producing children. So what kind of habits their children will have? That is the question. Okay, we go to Shlok 42 now. Sankaro narakayaiva kulagnanam kulasya cha patanti pitaro yeshal luptapindo dakakriyaha. Sankar, that such unwanted hybrid children, narakayaiva, take to the hell. Kulagnanam, for those who are killers of the family, those who have killed the family, they are called kulagnanam. Kulasya, for the family. Patanti, patanti, falling down. Pitar, pitar, the ancestors, the forefathers. Isham, for them. Lupta, lupta, disappear, stopped. Pind, pind, the offering of food to our pitar, which we perform on Shraddha day. Whatever food we offer, that is called pinda. Udak, udak is water. Kriya, the action of performing that Shraddha is that Kriya. So Arjuna says, Sankaro narka yeva kulagnanan kulasicha patanti pitro yesha lupta pindo daka kriyaha. When the families get wiped out, what will happen? This hybrid generation which will come into existence because of different Varna Sankara, Jati Sankara, all sorts Sankara, what we discussed. So this created Varna Sankara, Jati Sankara of the remaining members of the family. It will cause them going to the hell. This is all Arjuna's logic, not Lord Krishna's logic. Geeta does not believe, does not support this kind of logic. This is Arjuna's frustration was he's talking what he has heard from his forefathers. This is not the teaching of Geeta. He is speaking about his frustrations, that this is what is going to happen. So he says this hybrid generation will cause all of us to go to the hell. The remaining members of the family, they will cause us to go to hell, including those who killed his family, they will also go to the hell. And the ancestors, the forefathers, the Purvaj of such characterless families will fall down in their position because the family rituals of performing their Shraddha, the annual day when they passed away, that annual day we perform the Shraddha of our Pitaras, our ancestors, our forefathers. Nobody will perform that. Nobody will be left. And these hybrid children will know nothing about all these family traditions. So they will stop doing all this. And when it is stopped, these forefathers, these ancestors will fall down from their place. It is said, how much to believe that you decide, that many families who do not follow this Shraddha, the children getting born in that family, in their horoscope, they find a dosha that is called Pitru Dosh. And then the Pandit will advise you many things to be carried out to remove that Pitru Dosha from the horoscope. Pitru Dosha can cause obstacles in the path of the child of whose horoscope it is. Pitru Dosh. Pitru Dosh comes because they say that we don't follow the rituals of performing Shraddha of our forefathers. That causes the Pitru Dosha. Okay. So Arjuna is saying that Varna. Now here he says Sankaro Narkaiva Kulagnana Kulasicha Patanti Pitro Isha Lupta Pindo the Kakriyaha. Now Varna refers to the division of Hindu society into 4 castes: Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. In those times, intercaste marriages were deemed totally inappropriate. That was the time. But now, see, Hindu culture has changed with the time and we have progressed. We are not rigid that we will not change, come what may. With the time, we have also changed our traditions. But that time, everyone took a lot of pride in their own caste. Now, this does not mean that Geeta is encouraging the caste-based discrimination. This creation of Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra is not based on the birth. There are 2 shlokas in Bhagavad Gita prominently saying that Chaturvarnam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashaha. Gunakarma vibhagashaha. Chaturvarnam maya srishtam. In 4th Adhyaya, there is a shloka. Paramatma says the Chaturvarna I have created. Fine, I have created. But I have created it based on guna and karma. What are the gunas they possess and what is the karmas they do? If the gunas they possess are of bravery, the person getting birth in a Brahmin family is supposed to Brahminical culture, but he is brave. He wants to go to army. Let him go. He has full freedom to go to army. But the day he joins army, he changes to Kshatriya. Because his karma will be that of Kshatriya now. Killing the people, killing the enemy, which a Brahman is not allowed to do. He is not supposed to kill people. But once your gunas are of Kshatriya, then you are no more a Brahmin. So this Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra are based on guna and karma, not based on the family in which you are born. Gita never says Janma Vibhagayoho. Janma doesn't decide. Guna Karma Vibhagayoho. In 18th Adhyaya, there is another shloka. Brahmana Kshatriya Visham Shudrana Incha Parantapa Karmani Pravivaktani Karmani. Karma decides whether you are Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra. Not the birth. Your karma decides. So there are umpteen number of places in Gita wherein this kind of clarification is there. But people unnecessarily blame Gita that we have created this kind of division in the society of Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. This is not division in the society. It appears, it is there in every country. Take example of America, for example. There is a military there defending the borders. Yes. So they're all Kshatriya. There is a business community there. Yes. They're all Vaishyas. There is a service community there. Yes. They're all Shudras. And there is a community which gives church services and that Bible services. They're all Brahmins. So this, every country, every society has this division. But Hindus have been unnecessarily blamed that they have created this rift in the society, which is rubbish. Paramatma has said, Bhagavad Gītā, Samatma Yoga Uchyate. Following the principle of equanimity is professed by Bhagavad Gītā in almost every adhyaya. Samata, 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 equanimity, equanimity. Get equipoised to all situations. Behave with everyone externally also, remaining equipoised. So when Paramatma is advocating equipoised and equanimity, you think he will create a rift in the society by creating Brahmin up and Shudra down? Impossible. Paramatma again and again is saying, it is based on guna karma, not based on janma. So this is a misleading propaganda against Hinduism that Gita has created this kind of rift. Gita has never said that Brahmana is up or Brahmana can never become a Kshatriya. He can become, as I gave an example, a Brahmin person joining an army. He is no more a Brahmin, he is a Kshatriya now. A Shudra, maybe he is born in a Shudra family, that is okay. But if he is doing temple service, he is a Brahmin already. In fact, he is a higher category Brahmin than the normal Brahmin, because he has shifted from Shudra to Brahmin. So his work will decide, his karma will decide, his gunas will decide whether he is a Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra. Gita does no such thing that making a rift in the society. So we need to understand what these categories actually mean. So who is a Brahmin? It is not someone who is born in a Brahmin family. Gita doesn't say that. Anybody born in Brahmin family is a Brahmin. No. Our sages have said that the one who has realized Brahma is a Brahmin. How many of Brahmins, so-called Brahmins of today, have realized Brahma? So are they Brahmin per se? So similarly, the one whose natural inclination is towards the business and who is interested in profit and loss and all these things, he is a Vaishya. Shudra is one whose intellect is diminutive and who is concerned only in the body matters. Similarly, Kshatriya is the one who is very brave, courageous and valiant. So these are the gunas of person, not the family. But many so-called religious people, they say that this is the rift created by Bhagavad Gita, which is rubbish, as I said. They don't understand that the real meaning of these terms, what the real meaning of these terms is. What is Brahmin? What is Kshatriya? What is Vaishya? What is Shudra? And they quote this verse, this shloka from Bhagavad Gita to condone the casteism and justify the prohibition of intercaste marriage. Gita has never said intercaste marriage is to be banned. No. So this is very strange to believe that people blame Gita for this. We cannot understand how people keep condemning this intercaste marriage, despite such in-depth clarification given by our people in our own adhyatma, in our own literature. See, there is some relevance, as for example, if a very intelligent person who is, say, highly educated, maybe he has done MS or MTech or some such thing, he is very intellectually refined person. If such a person marries someone who is not all that wise, maybe a small village girl, then who is happy in just eating and being married, then this couple, can they get along together? What matters most is the compatibility between the two personalities, their likes and dislikes. This is what matters the most for a marriage to be successful. How can the caste be a deciding factor? So when we say Brahmin or Kshatriya or Shudra, what we refer is to the inherent nature of that person. By nature he is Brahmin, by nature he is Kshatriya, by nature he is Vaishya, by nature he is Shudra, what? All those personalities, and not the labels stamped on them by the society. So if a boy and girl are having the same inherent nature, they can very well get married. To whichever caste they may belong. But how many people get married depending upon their physical, mental, intellectual, and emotional compatibility? Instead, they go for looks, beautiful beauty, they go for property, and they go for wealth. So Arjuna is talking about this caste system that was even more prevalent and dominant in those times than what it is today. He says that with the destruction of the dynasty, the women of the clan will interact with males of other castes, and the resultant mixed breed children will further damage the society. That's Sankara. This Varna Sankara refers to the children born out of wedlock, especially those conceived by women who have had relations with the men from different castes. And this was regarded as a stigma, blight in the society. It is even now, of course. Arjuna is saying that the impending war would lead to utter disgrace and dishonor, because all such stories will be talk of the everyday ladies getting a relationship with different people and producing children. This will become an everyday affair. Thus, he says, this would be inescapable and the consequences of it will be disastrous if we go ahead with the war. Now let us discuss one important aspect. Karna, the son of Kunti. Before Kunti got married, this was pre-marriage son of Kunti. So Karna was born, he was son of Kunti, born out of wedlock. He was raised by a Shudra couple. And neither Arjuna nor any of the Pandavas, including the Dharmaraj Yudhishthira, ever missed an opportunity to sarcastically remind him of his lowly background as a Shudra. Karna is always referred as a Dasiputra, as a Shudra, Sutaputra, Dasiputra, Shud, because he was belonging to, he was taken care of by a Shudra family. So whenever they would get an opportunity, they would taunt Arjuna, Yudhishthira and all Pandavas. Lowly born one, keep quiet, don't talk. This was the treatment meted out to Karna based on his Shudra background. So you're not fit to sit with us, they used to say to Karna. We are Kshatriyas, you are Shudra, don't sit with us. Further, it is said that Karna was handsome, intelligent man with a very attractive personality, and he was as brave as Arjuna. He too had intended to participate in Draupadi's Swayamvara, but when he stood to pick up the bow, Draupadi got scared and she said, stop. You cannot participate in this Swayamvara. You are a Shudra. You can't participate here. So Karna was given repeated insults meted out to him by Pandavas. Arjuna and his brothers never let Karna to forget that he is Shudra. In this context, it is apparent that the attitude of Duryodhana was admirable. We should appreciate Duryodhana in this case. He regarded Karna as a supremely brave warrior and respected him so. Karna's background, his upbringing was inconsequential for him, for Duryodhana. Whether he was taken care of by a Shudra family and all that, he didn't care for that, Duryodhana. See, the reason that we are comparing now Arjuna's and Duryodhana's behavior is simply to point out, not that we would take Duryodhana's or Kaurava's side in Mahabharata. That's not the objective. But the point here is, you will be able to find some faults in Arjuna and some good points in Duryodhana. There are shades of goodness in Duryodhana, as this example shows. Karna, who had been condemned and denounced by everyone, was accepted only by Duryodhana, who befriended him and made him the king of a nearby kingdom. And he had no misgiving in doing so. He didn't treat Karna as a Shudra. He said, you are my friend. So this is also different characters. The shades of characters in Mahabharata are plenty. The more you study, the more you will enjoy it. Every good man has some bad thing. Every bad man has some good things. This is what it shows. Okay, we go to next shloka now. Doshairete kulagnanam varnasankarakarakai utsadyante jati dharma kuladharmascha shashvataha. Doshai, such faults. Kulagnanam, the destroyer of the family. Varnasankar, that hybrid unwanted children, what we are discussing. Karakai, which are the cause. Utsadyante, utsadyante, to get devastated, to get finished, terribly damaged, is utsadyante. Jati dharma, religious and caste principles, jati dharma. Kula dharma, family traditions and family rituals, is kula dharma. Shashvata is eternal, age old. So Arjuna is further telling, doshe rete kulagnanam varna sankara karakaihi utsadyante jati dharma kula dharma shashvata. By the sinful evil act of those who destroy the family traditions and thus give rise to hybrid unwanted children, all kinds of family traditions and the base principles of caste and religion get totally devastated, get totally destroyed. The trend of Varna Sankar will destroy our dynasty and the communities and family welfare will be demolished. This is what Arjuna is saying. Next shloka, 44. Utsanna kuladharmanam manushanaya janardana narake niyatam vaso bhavati ityanu. Utsanna, the damage, the spoiled, kuladharmanam, family traditions, manushyanam, of such people, Janardana is calling for Lord Krishna, narake, narak is hell, niyatam, always, vasa is to stay, to reside, bhavati, to become, anushushrama is heard from some elderly people in the family, anushushrama. So Arjuna says, I have heard it from old people in the family, anushushrama. What he has heard? That those whose family traditions are destroyed, they always remain in the hell. So if you have a tradition of performing Navratra, and if you don't do that, then according to Arjuna, that family will stay in hell. Family traditions, family rituals are to be scrupulously followed. These are the teachings from coming to us from generation to generation, and any generation not following that will face the consequences. That is what Arjuna is saying. Utsanna kuladharmana manushanaya janardana narake niyatam vaso bhavatityana shushravu. So Krishna, it is sensible to become the destroyer of our traditional values. Is it right? The children born out of wedlock will not know anything about our traditional rituals. Then who will perform the rites after death? Then how will attain salvation? If the Shraddha is not performed, if the 13-day procedure after the death is not performed, how we can achieve that Param Shanti? Anyone dies, known to us, we say, Paramatma Uni Sadgati De, Param Shanti De. So Arjuna's question is, who will give him Param Shanti if his rituals are not followed? Arjuna is bringing in the tradition of following the rites and rituals, that is an integral part of norms followed by traditional families. We follow it. It is indeed interesting to see people who are otherwise staunch followers of Vedanta, but when faced with the death of their family member or family, they get gripped by the fear and ask, what rite should I perform now? First day, what I have to do? Third day, what I have to do? Seventh day, 9th day, 10th day, 13th day, what I have to do? Should I offer that pinda, that means that dove balls to the crow? What should I do? So they go to a Pandit and then they consult him. Now, those of us who have experienced the death of our family members, all of us have definitely, must be aware that until the dead body is cremated and for a certain number of days after the death, so many self-proclaimed caretakers of religion come forward and they offer innumerable advices to us. Do this, don't do that, give up these, all sorts of advices will start pouring into you. And after the body is cremated, they say, don't look back. When the body is cremated, it is given to the ashes. They say, walk straight, don't look back. This is the instructions people give. Because if you look back, the dead person will follow you. This is the thing they tell us. So all those who are saying that I am the soul, not the body, they become identified with the body, and that he follows everything. He considered that fellow who is dead, he will really follow me. There are ladies who, one example, one American lady, she said that my son will not perform my Shraddha. So what should I do? So she got called to India. That okay, you come to India, go to Haridwar. There, the Pandits will perform your Shraddha when you are alive. There is a place in Haridwar where you can perform your own Shraddha, thinking that your children will not perform your Shraddha and you will not get Sadgati because they don't perform your Shraddha. You perform your own Shraddha when you are alive. That will give the peace to your soul when you are dead. That is the belief. Now, how much to believe this? Can this be believed? That you can perform your own Shraddha? There are contradictory opinions on this. Take your own call, whether can we perform our own Shraddha. When you have relinquished the identification to your body, given up all attachments, and then in a way you have embraced your death, you have realized that death is the unchangeable nature of body and that it cannot touch the immortal epitome of that bliss that resides within the perishable body, that means your Jivatma. But even the self-proclaimed Vedic people who say we are expert in Vedas, they worry about their death rights. They say that it is what is advocated by our scriptures and we need to follow this. So as I said, it is a call to be taken by everyone. Belief, because we are learning from Geeta that we are nothing but the Jivatma, soul. And the soul is leaving the body and taking another body. So the body is not important at all. Geeta is teaching us. We are telling everyone now after learning Geeta that we are not body. So when the body is lifeless, what is the importance of that body that we follow all such rituals? This is a food for thought, whether we should give so much of importance to the body which is already dead, or we should give importance to that Jivatma who is ready to occupy another body. We don't know which body he has occupied. If you know that and you worship that body, one can understand. But you don't know which body he has occupied. So you can only pray for that Jivatma. But he is already interested in another body, he has already gone. Arjuna is blinded by the ignorance and he is saying that if no one will perform the after death rites, then how will we get liberation, salvation, moksha? Also, the children born subsequently will have no knowledge of these traditions of rituals and rites. Their lives will be hell, and we too will be in the hell thereafter. So this is all the consequences. These are all the consequences Arjuna is telling to Lord Krishna that this is the result of war that is going to happen. We go to Shlok 45 now. Aho vatamahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam yadraj sukhalobhena hantum svajanam madhyataha. Aho means alas, my God, like that. Very surprising and strange that we have decided to commit such a largely sinful act. Oh, but a mahat papam, mahat, great, papam, sinful act. Bata is how strange it is. Vyavasitaya. Vyavasita means decided. Aho, bata mahat papam, kartum vyavasita vayam, yadrajya sukhalobhena, hantum svajanam madhyata. How strange it is that we have decided to commit this sinful act, very, very sinful act, that we will kill our own people. Antum swajana. We will kill our own people in the greed of kingdom and happiness. Yadraj sukhalobhena. How strange it is, Arjuna says. Aho batamat papam kartum vyavasita vayam yadraj sukhalobhena hantum swajana madhyataha. We go to Shlok 46 now. Yadi imam pratikaram shastram shastrapanayah dhartarashtrarane hanyus tanme kshemataram bhave. Arjuna says, Yadi, even if mama, me, apratikaram, without retaliation, without offering any resistance, ashastram, without having any weapons, shastra panayaha, pana means hand, pani means hand, Panayaha, those having weapons in their hands, Shastra Panayaha, Dhartarashtra, sons of Dhritarashtra, Rane, in the battlefield, Hanyu, Hanyu is to kill. So Arjuna says, it will be better for me. It will be better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra with weapons in their hands will kill me unarmed. I will be unarmed. I will have no weapons with me, but it will be better that Kauravas, sons of Dhritarashtra, come with weapons in their hands and they kill me. It will be better for me. My goodness. A Kshatriya standing in the battlefield talking this kind of language. To lift his moral from such a low level and make him ready for the fight is a Herculean task, which Lord Krishna will definitely handle from the second adhyaya onwards. So Arjuna says, without offering any resistance and retaliation on the battlefield, I will prefer to die at the hands of Kauravas, who will come with weapons in their hands, and I will have no weapons in my hand. That death will be better for me. Last shloka. Sanjayam vacha evamukta sakhera evamukta Arjuna sankhya rathopastha upavishat visrujya sasharai chapam shokasam vignamanasaha. Sanjaya says to Dhritarashtra that after saying this, that I am not going to fight the war. What happens? Arjuna, having spoken this, evam uktva, saying this, sankhya means the battlefield, upasthe, on the seat, upavishat is to sit down, uttishta, stand up, upavishat, sit down. So upavishat, he sat down. Visrujya is to keep away, putting aside. Sasharam, the bows and the arrows. Sasharam, bows and the arrows. Chapam is the bow. Shoka is deeply saddened state of mind is shoka. Manasa of the mind. So Arjuna says, Sanjay is telling Dhritarashtra that Arjuna, having spoken like this on the battlefield, like what we have read in last 15-20 shlokas, what Arjuna is speaking of his vishad, his frustration, is reasoning out as to how it is a futile exercise, a bad, sinful act to enter into this war. Better we draw from it right now. After saying all this, he cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down in the chariot with a deeply saddened mind, distressed mind. So, Arjuna, having spoken on the battlefield, he is now given up. His bow he has taken out from his shoulder, kept it aside, and with a very saddened look on his face, with a very saddened mind, he sat down in the chariot. His legs were already trembling, so he sat down in the chariot. This is the end of first adhyaya. Now this is, we say, Om Tat Sati Śrīmad-Bhagavadgītā Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayai Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna-Arjuna Samvade Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama Prathamo Adhyayaha. Now we say Shri Krishna-Arjuna Samvade. The question will come, Krishna did not speak a single word. So where is the samvad between Krishna and Arjuna? All other adhyayas, okay, Krishna is speaking, but here Krishna is totally silent. So how can we call this adhyaya Shri Krishna-Arjuna Samvad? There is no samvad. Did Krishna speak a single word? Is there a single shloka coming from Lord Krishna? No. Then why we should call it Shri Krishna-Arjuna Samvade? See, the samvad is not only when both people are talking. When there is a listener and there is a talker, when the talker is being listened by somebody else, that also is samvad. If there is no listener, then there is no dialogue, then there is no samvad. But as long as there is a listener listening, everything that is being talked by the talker, by the speaker, then that is also samvad. And here, as we see, Lord Krishna is a mute spectator. He is carefully listening to all the frustrations of Arjuna, which he has spoken out so elaborately in this adhyaya, expressing his vishad, expressing his distress, expressing his sadness. So merely listening to Arjuna is also a samvad from Lord Krishna's side. So it is right to call this Adhyaya also as Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. Both are equally involved. Krishna in listening and Arjuna in speaking. So this is also a Samvad. So this is the end of this first chapter. Thank you so very much for listening to me again today. And now the forum is open for all of you to raise your questions. Feel free to raise your questions. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna Bhaiya, thank you so much for guiding us through your wonderful session. Now I would request you to solve the Geeta Sadhak's queries, and any Geeta Sadhak having query. Usha Didi?
Jai
Yes,
Shri
ma'am.
Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
My question is two questions. One is that this Satyavati marrying Shantanu itself is she was from a different jati, and
Yeah.
that has already happened much before in
Yeah.
Arjuna's time, no?
Mm-hmm.
That is one. Another thing is why Shri Krishna, I know he tried to stop the war. He went to the Kauravas many times and made many offers and suggestions to stop the war. But in the end, the war gave only grief to everyone. Pandavas lost all their children. So why Bhagwan did not stop it?
See, Bhagwan did want to stop it, but ultimately Bhagwan is giving freedom of thinking and doing karma to individuals. He is not forcing anything. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Paramatma is moto me mataha. There are many shlokas. Me mataha. This is my opinion. Arjuna, whether you accept or not is up to you. Whether you act as per that or not is up to you. But this is my opinion. Paramatma will never force you to take any specific action. That is what he did even when he went for mediation to Kauravas. He explained to the Kauravas also that there is going to be a huge bloodbath if you enter into the war. You think it. Is it worth going into it? Why don't you give 5 villages to Pandavas and end the chapter? They don't want half kingdom. Okay, you don't want to give them, I accept. Don't give them half kingdom. Give them 5 villages. With which they can live comfortably, peacefully. But Duryodhana was very adamant. He said, I won't give them even the piece of land which will be covered by the point of a needle. Forget about 5 villages. So everybody tried except Dhritarashtra. Everybody tried. Pitama Bhishma tried, Dronacharya tried, Krupacharya tried, everyone tried. But it was of no avail because Duryodhana was adamant. And why he was adamant, I think we discussed it, that he was of the opinion that his father has been given a wrong treatment by Pitama Bhishma. He was not made the king in the first place. When Pandu was alive, why Duryodhana Dhritarashtra was not made the king? That was his grudge against Pandavas and against Pitama Bhishma also. So he wanted to take revenge of the unlawful treatment meted out to his father. And he was thinking that if I don't take side of my father, who else will take? So that was the thing. Everybody is right in his own way. Duryodhana was right in his own way. Pandavas were right in their own way. So, but in short, everyone tried to pacify Duryodhana and Kauravas not to enter into war. But he had his own reasons to fight for the war. And he did that and got vanished in the process, got killed in the process. All 100 Kauravas died. All 5 Pandavas survived. So Lord Krishna did try to stop the war. Which other question you had about Satyavati? Yeah, okay. She was a fisherman's daughter, and they say that her body used to smell like fish. Satyavati. So people express surprise that how this Dushyanta fell in love with such a girl who's always smelling like a fish. But love is blind, we know. So he fell in love with her. And that time when someone falls in love, he doesn't see any caste or anything. Fisherman's daughter is okay for a king also. Okay, she is beautiful, so she is okay for me. That is how he got married with her. Ganga was his first wife. Pitama Bhishma was born out of Ganga. And then Satyavati, when Ganga left, then Satyavati came in his life. That story we discussed in some session, I think, last time. Okay, any other questions?
Gauri Devi?
So, Jai Shri Krishna, everybody. It's always very soothing and thought-provoking when we listen to Mr. Vikas Vaidya's lectures. And sir, I have two questions to ask you. You said that children follow the parents. It is very true.
Yeah.
We get moral values from our parents. We
Yes.
always see them respecting each other, and
Yes.
we follow the same. When the child gets married, he or she follows the parents, and they learn to respect each other. Another question I have is, Karna was born to Kunti out of a mantra she chanted in front of the sun,
Sun God,
the
yeah.
sun god.
Hmm.
So here there's no biological or genetical this thing, but the chanting of the mantra made her carry Karna. And another thing is, yes, there are some temples in Nasik where people perform their Atma Pinda one ritual, where they perform their own shraddha before they are dead, so that they are confident that even if the son doesn't have the caliber or the
Desire to do it.
the will to perform, then God will see that they are liberated, their souls are liberated. So that is the attitude with which they do that Atma Pinda ceremony for themselves. And I want to ask another question, that when the children are confident and respect the person to whom they are engaged, could be a boy respecting his fiancée or a girl respecting her fiance. And I think these moral values are sometimes they are inherited, sometimes they are caught, and they get it by their observations, by their the following the adults in the home. They get it naturally.
Yeah.
So I want to know if there is any shloka that Lord Krishna always says that he is the Janardana. He is the father of all we are children of God.
Yes.
And
see, that is what we discussed at length today, that all these castes, Brahman, Vaishya, Shudra, Kshatriya and all that, this is Guna Karma Vibhaga. So, based on the Guna and Karmas of individuals, they're not based on birth. So, if the boy and girl are having the same mental setup, same way of thinking, they can get along very well with each other, then there is no harm they are getting married. Whether one is Brahman or other is Kshatriya or Shudra or whatever it is, that doesn't, it's not very relevant at all. The only thing I personally oppose is an Islamic girl or Islamic boy getting married with Hindu. That is to be condemned at all cost. Because their religion is totally based on violence. They don't want other people to exist in this world other than their own. So their basic principles themselves, the foundation of their religion itself is wrong. While we say all people should do well, we wish all for good for everyone. They don't say all that. Between Hindus, there are many subcastes. If they get married with each other, we should not take so much objection. We need to change with the time. Because our traditions may be slightly different here and there, but our basic principles are same. Coexistence of all human beings. That is our basic foundation. And that whether he is a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, it doesn't matter at all. So that basic foundation of coexistence is there in our religion, which is not there in Islam. That's why Islam, we should keep away from that religion. Between Hindus, there is absolutely no harm in getting related to subcaste or other caste. No,
Yes.
no.
This change in the custom also comes with जैसे संगति का असर होता है.
Yeah.
Like some of us are strictly vegetarians. We don't
Yeah.
even touch an egg.
Yeah.
But there are some boys who study in a hostel and they fall into some company which provokes them to have some non-vegetarian food, and that should not become
Didi, that is
a
okay. One
habit.
can understand the eating habits, but the habits which they inculcate in their young children are highly objectionable. An 8-year boy or a 9-year-old boy, they train him on how to kill the hen. So he becomes trained in seeing the blood at that young age, and he feels nothing wrong in killing something. Do we train our children like this? So their upbringing itself is based on violence. They train their children in this. It is highly objectionable, no?
Yes.
So that's why we should keep away from such people whose base is violence, killing. The training, they do it basically because they want to make their children tough. So that if they want to kill somebody when they become young, they should not feel guilty, they should not feel bad. We don't train our children like this.
We never train, but some of them fall into bad company and they inculcate. And they say habits die hard.
Yeah.
Once they get
that is the responsibility of the parents to check in what company our children are going. Who are their friends? Are they in a good company, right company or not? This is the responsibility of parents ultimately, no? So if parents can fulfill this, dispose this responsibility very well, then the children will be on proper track. On their own, our children will never do anything bad. That is our culture. But in the bad company of bad people, okay, they may be tempted to do it. But if we can bring them to the track, then that is our responsibility to do that.
In the course of education also, if they register their names in some hostel, then somehow they get deviated from the path they had been following, and they inculcate such habits.
Yeah. Because they misuse the freedom given to them. Living in hostels means they feel now we can do anything at any time. We have full freedom. The age is also such that they get tempted to do many illegal, sinful acts. So that is where the culture comes into picture. If they have been brought up in good atmosphere in the family, wherein people say Rama Raksha or they say Geeta every day in their house, then they would not be so much going the wrong way. But nowadays, people don't say Ram Raksha or Geeta in their house. Then the children also don't have proper habits. Every evening in our childhood, many houses, of course, still they do it. When we light a lamp in the evening, the entire family will sit down and say Rama Raksha or Maruti Stotra. That is the culture we have.
Yes.
The children
Even
are also
before eating meals, even before having meals, they say Yantuno Devo, that mantra.
Yeah, we say Vadani Kavada Gita.
So that becomes a habit in the children. They learn to pray. And so the Bible also says, dust thou art, and unto dust thou shalt return. So we are, even that is, we are converted into ashes, or if they're buried, they're converted into soil. So they go back to the soil from
Yeah,
which
yeah.
they were
The
made.
richness that we have in our Sanatan Dharma, in our Hindu Dharma, that richness is not there in any other religion. Our
Yes.
foundation is the strongest. We are real
Yes.
human beings who think of other human beings. Humanity is in our blood. Okay, any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please. Yes, please, Mukulji.
Yes. Sir, Jai Shri Krishna. Sir, I have
Yes,
two questions.
yes, please.
One is that it is said that when the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad Gita was recited by the Lord, the time was stopped and nobody could see or hear in the war field. Only Dhritarashtra listened through Sanjay. And secondly, why Divya Drishti was given to Sanjay only and not to Dhritarashtra?
See, second question first. So, Dhritarashtra was offered Divya Drishti by Maharishi Vedavyas. When the war was inevitable, Maharishi Vedavyas went to Dhritarashtra. And then he offered him the Divya Drishti. If you know the story, Dhritarashtra and Pandu both were the sons of Maharishi Vedavyas, born out of Ambika and Ambalika. So he went to Dhritarashtra saying that, okay, do you want to see the war? I can give you Divya Drishti. You can see and understand, listen whatever is happening on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. But Dhritarashtra declined, saying that no, I'm blind since birth. Now I'm already so old, and at the end of my life, I don't want to see the blood. But still, I want to know what is happening there. So please give this Divya Drishti to my cabinet minister, Sanjay. Sanjay was his, like in today's parlance, if we say, he was his executive assistant. Like a chairman has executive assistant these days in the corporate sector. So Sanjay was his sort of executive assistant, that you give it to him. He will narrate to me what is going on. That's why it was given to Sanjay.
Yes. Okay.
And what was the first question?
It is said that time was stopped at the time of when Bhagavad Gita was recited by Lord.
See, time never stops. Time never stops. But they say that this entire Bhagavad Gita was said by Lord Krishna to Arjuna in around 40 to 45 minutes. It was not going on for hours and hours. It was explained to Arjuna in 40-45 minutes. And it was not said in the form of adhyay or shlokas like we read Gita. Subsequently, it was put into words by Maharishi Vedavyas. Krishna had explained to him the basic fundamentals of all yogas, Buddhi Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, all yogas. And that has been properly chapterized and then put into proper text by Maharishi Vedavyas in a proper sequence. But Lord Krishna did not say Prathamo Dhyaya, Dvitiyo Dhyaya. He didn't say Gita like this. It was how Maharishi Vedavyas wrote it down from his memory. Yes, Mohini ji?
Jai Shri Krishna.
Yes,
I have two questions. One is that after 10 when the Sanjay went to Dhritarashtra, when Bhishma, when he was on this deathbed, at that time he recited this Gita to Dhritarashtra, or it was when he was speaking to Arjuna at that same time he recited everything to Dhritarashtra.
When Bhishma was lying on the Kurukshetra,
it was after that, at that time, or it was at when he was when they were discussing, when Arjuna was telling. It was at the same moment he was.
No,
he was saying.
At the same time. You see, there are two things. When Bhishma fell down due to the so many arrows shot at him by Arjuna, he fell in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. At that time, Yudhishthira went to him, not Arjuna. Yudhishthira went to him.
Not Yudhishthira, Sanjay went to on the battlefield.
Sanjay never left the palace of Dhritarashtra. He was sitting in the palace. He didn't go to battlefield at all. Sanjay was in the battlefield.
I don't know why it was. Why it is in my mind that Sanjay went on in the battlefield, and at that time he was saying this after 10 days or 12 days.
there is no mention that Sanjay ever went to Kurukshetra, to the battlefield. Sanjay never went to Kurukshetra or battlefield. He was narrating everything because he got a Divya Drishti from Maharishi Vedavyas. So he was narrating everything sitting in the palace of Dhritarashtra. By the side of Dhritarashtra, he was
Okay.
sitting and he was narrating everything to him. I think what
Right at the same time,
what you
what
would
he
have heard
was,
is
they were.
when Bhishma fell down in the Kurukshetra war, Yudhishthira went to him and he asked him few questions. And at that time, Pitama Bhishma, he told him the Vishnu Sahasranam to Yudhishthira.
Yeah, at that time, he told him Vishnu Sahasranam.
Vishnu Sahasranam.
Mm,
But at the
and
beginning,
yeah, at the beginning, it was right from the point to that point.
Yes.
Right from that point where they were, Arjuna and Lord Krishna was, it was from there at the same time. It is not afterwards.
Hmm.
When they were discussing, when they were talking about all this, at the very moment, Sanjay was telling it to Dhritarashtra.
Yeah. Sanjay was telling Dhritarashtra everything that was happening on the Kurukshetra. When Bhishma fell down, everything he was narrating. See, he was hoping that after listening to entire Geeta, Dhritarashtra will take a call and he may call Yudhishthir and Duryodhana and will do some kind of mediation between them and will stop the war. Because when Sanjaya said in the last sloka of 18th Adhyay, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama, he directly announced to his king that it is the side of Krishna and Arjuna who are going to win. It is their side who will have victory. So definitely we are going to lose. Do you want to think about the war again? But Dhritarashtra was blind mentally as well as intellectually also. So he didn't stop the war. I think you're mute, Mohini ji.
Another question is, when a person leaves this mortal body for a heavenly world or for Vaishno Dham, here kids are performing the rituals, and different pandits have different versions. In India, we have pandits are same, but the way he is doing there and the way another place, just like here in Canada, we have pandits here. They are also very well versed pandits. They are performing on the 6th month or on 12th month. There are some rituals, and we don't know anything about whatever they say. We are doing as per their suggestion, as per their advice. Is it okay if we don't know, kids don't know actually, they perform their duties, but they don't know actually what he is telling, whatever he is telling, they are performing. He is making them to understand also. But as per their way, we are doing everything. In India, our puja was on 6th day, puja used to do from morning till evening. It used to be 7-8 hours. Here it is only for 2-3 hours. Is there any difference?
See, it depends how much faith you have on these rituals. People perform this in 15 minutes also. So, whether you want to perform it for 3 days or 10 days, or whether you want to finish it in 10-15 minutes, is up to you. But the principle what we should understand or we should educate our children is do something. Do something. Do remember your ancestors. Do remember your parents. Do remember your grandfather, grandmothers. Whether you read Geeta and then remember them is okay. Whether you do the Shraddha and pay something to Pandit is also okay. But there has to be some means through which you remember your ancestors, your forefathers. You should not totally discard or forget them. That's why we have one particular month wherein it is meant to remember. And then there is one Amavasya, Sarvapitri Amavasya in that month. On that day, we are supposed to remember all of the dead members of our family and offer them some food or water on that day. So this is a matter of belief. Now, as we discussed, if Geeta says that those souls have already acquired another body, somebody's grandfather died 100 years back. So what is the point in performing Shraddha for him? Because he might have changed 3-4 bodies by now, we don't know. Isn't it? So it's a question of your faith and belief. But the point is, we should remember in this way or that way your ancestors, because you are here in this world because of them. If your parents were not there, you would not have taken the birth at all. So we should be definitely indebted to our forefathers for bringing us to this world, if not for anything else. Okay, you are mute again, Mohini ji. Cannot hear. Any other questions anyone has?
Sandhya Didi.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Yes, Shri Krishna.
I want to just ask whether many people do express their wish. Can you hear?
Yeah. Can hear you.
Express their wish before dying that they don't want to have any rituals after their death. So how far we should go ahead?
See,
Whether
when they
to
express,
respect their wish or to perform all the rituals as and what we are doing regularly.
when they express their wish, they're in a particular frame of mind. You don't know whether that particular thought was a temporary thought in their mind was a permanent thought in their mind. In some spate of moment, people say something, but that should not change our culture. If culturally we are supposed to do it, we should do it. If culturally we are not doing it for anyone, then okay, then you can take your own call. But just because somebody has said, don't do anything for me, and we don't do anything for him, then we're not doing our job. Whatever we are supposed to do as the children, we should do that. We should fulfill our responsibility. They have fulfilled their responsibility by telling that, okay, don't do anything for me. Likewise, many people say, I don't want any help from you. But does it mean that we should not help them at all? We do help. So if it is for their betterment of soul, and if we believe strongly in that their soul will on a better journey if we perform such rituals which have come to us through traditions, then we should do it.
Other thing is the whole Gita was told by Shri Krishna to Arjuna before war, that means.
Yeah,
It
before
was on
war.
the battlefield, but
It was
before
on
war.
battlefield, but before war. That's why I was trying to tell that in
Correct.
Mahabharata, Gita happened before the war and Vishnu Sahasranam happened during the war. When Vishnu already failed. So both the great things, that is Bhagavad Gita and Vishnu Sahasranam, are the gift of Mahabharata and of the gift of Kurukshetra. Because both happened at Kurukshetra. Gita also happened at Kurukshetra. The Ashwatth Vriksha where Krishna said this Gita to Arjuna is still there in that Manesar in Haryana, where Kurukshetra is there. So that is the battlefield where these things happened. Both Vishnu Sahasranam as well as Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
But one is before the war and other was during the war. Okay, any other questions?
Didi, please ask the question.
Jai Shri Krishna, Bhaiya. Guruji.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sir. My question is 18 श्लोक में पृथक पृथक इसका मीनिंग क्या है? पृथक पृथक
separately.
Okay.
Separately, because everyone was having his own conch shell, so everyone blew their conch shell separately. Pruthak.
Yeah. हमारे सारे मूल ग्रंथ जैसे रामायण महाभारत सब ग्रंथ कहाँ प्रोटेक्ट किया जाता है?
कहाँ क्या प्रोटेक्ट किया जाता है?
ये तालपत्र में लिखा गया है ना?
हाँ. लेकिन now they are available in digitized form also. In original form, yes, they were on Tadapatra. But then when paper was invented, it came on the paper. And when digital world was invented, it came in digital form also. So now it is all indestructible.
ये मूल तालपत्र कहाँ रखा जाता है?
कहाँ रखा जाता है ताड़पत्र? I don't think that Tadapatra where original Mahabharata was written or Ramayana was written is still in existence. Because the shelf life of that Tadapatra is not so many thousands of years. It has come from generation to generation and now it has come in the paper form. That is what we should understand. Basic Tadapatra on which the Ganesh ji had written Mahabharata, it won't be existing now anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bhaiya, now I don't think we'll have more doubts. So
Okay.
thank you, Bhaiya, for solving the queries. And I would like to thank the Vivechan team, tech team, and the backend team for the smooth conduction of the Vivechan Satra. And now I would like to invite Saraswati Didi for Samapan Pratna. Didi is from Anamaya. She has passed Geeta Pathak with outstanding performance. She has joined Geeta Parivar from 2021 and she serves Geeta Parivar as a trainer. Over to you, Saraswati Didi.
Okay, Jai Shri Krishna, सबको
Jai Shri Krishna.
योगेशं सच्चिदानन्दं वासुदेवं व्रजप्रियं धर्मसंस्थापकं वीरं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं. जय श्री कृष्ण जी सभी को.
Jai Shri Krishna Didi. Thank you so much, Didi. And stay tuned for the next Arthavechan Satra. Till then, Jai Shri Krishna.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारि बरनउ रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फलचारि बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार. जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र ध्वजा विराजय कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजय शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीना तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावै सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै चारों जुग प्रताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरई हनुमत बल बीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर गोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़ हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय.